the news at 1, President Tinubu calls for sincerity of purpose from member nations at the United Nations General Assembly. Federal government assures of commitment to addressing demands of the Nigerian Labour Congress. And Syrian President Bashar al-Assad seeks exit from diplomatic isolation after 10 years of sanctions. A very good afternoon. Thank you for joining us on the 1 p.m. news on NTA Channel 5 Abuja, the Unity station. I am Abdullahi Ajia with the news. First, we begin from the presidency in faraway as he joined world leaders in search of common solutions to challenges confronting the world at the United Nations General Assembly. High-level debate in New York. President Tinubu emphatically called for sincerity of purpose from member nations as he reaffirmed Nigeria's and Africa's readiness to contribute in healing the world. State House correspondent Musbahud and Wahab reports.
A quiet Tuesday morning in part of New York City. But from this building were voices to the world, voices towards unity of purpose to improve the global system and for its inhabitants.
That freedom will finally prevail.
We need to bring the same commitment and urgency and ambition as we work together to meet the Sustainable Development Goals of 2030.
The solutions are peculiar as they come, and so too is this new, yet assertive voice.
On behalf of the people of Nigeria,
President Tinubu lends his voice against man's inhumanity to man and to the environment, leading to adverse effects from the universe manifesting in climate change. But while reaffirming the commitment of Nigeria and indeed Africa towards finding solutions to global challenges, Tinubu calls for sincerity of purpose in the crackdown on terror financing, economic sabotage, illicit mining and arms smuggling in the developing world.
Many proclamations have been made, yet our troubles remain close at hand. Failures in good governance have hindered Africa, but broken promises, unfair treatment, and outright exploitation from abroad have also exerted a heavy toll on our ability to progress. We are not asking for identical programs and actions. What we seek is an equal, firm commitment to partnership.
ECOWAS, under his chairmanship, has been up against unconstitutional takeover of governments in West Africa and on the continent. The Nigerian leader wants global support against political instability in Africa.
African nation will improve our economies so that our people do not risk their life to sweep the floors and streets of other nations. We also shall devote ourselves to disbanding extremist groups on our turf.
However, President Tinubu invites the world for a genuine business in Nigeria as he says efforts are on in policies to ensure a more conducive environment for businesses.
Welcome partnership with those who not mind seeing Nigeria and Africa assume larger roles in the global community. The question is not whether Nigeria is open for business. The question is how much of the world is truly open to doing business with Nigeria, and how African is an equal, mutually beneficial manner.
Other African leaders also speak on equity and fairness in matters concerning the continent.
The people of our continent are once again bearing the cost of industrialization of the North and the development of the wealthy nations of the world. This is a price that the people of Africa are no longer prepared to pay.
In New York, Musbah and Wahab, NT News.
Meanwhile, President Bola Tinubu's speech at the United Nations General Assembly on Tuesday has continued to generate reactions. State House correspondent Musbao Wahab is here to give us some reactions from New York.
Yes, it was indeed the first time, the first appearance of President Bola Tinubu on this stage, but yet he has been able to take the world by the storm with his presentation on the floor of a United Nations General Assembly on Tuesday. And we've been speaking to some dignitaries on the delegation of Nigeria, and here are some of their reactions.
Given his first showing, he demonstrated that Nigerians have actually chosen well to be our president at this point in time. He was not only defining what the role Nigeria will play, will continue to play, but was also putting Africa on the world map, expressing that even, with global challenges, that the entire world, needs to be able to listen, and watch, the opportunities that are bound in Africa. Africa has been the whipping boy, right? Africa has not been fairly treated. Africa has been the one that we believe, is the untapped, future resource of the entire world. And he was able to put that forward.
The most important part about the speech was, I think, he was introducing himself to the international community, the wider audience. You don't have a bigger stage than in front of the United Nations, where over 200 countries are represented, and you tell them, you're now in charge of a country, the largest black country in the world, and this is your agenda, this is your focus, and you're telling them that, Nigeria is here and we're ready to play a big role in the international community.
Indeed, President Bola Tinubu has been able to announce himself on the global stage like he has done in the sub-region and on the continent of Africa. And not just him, other African leaders who spoke to the General Assembly also spoke to the rights of African countries. And so people are saying African countries seem to have come of age, asking for their rightful place among the Committee of Nations.
Thank you, Musba. Well articulated there. Now, 24th September each year is marked as International Day of Peace. The day is observed around the world to build collective efforts, understanding, and respect for all people. Hawagimba takes a look at the 2023 theme, Action for Peace, Our Ambition for Global Goals.
The United Nations resolution established the International Day of Peace in 1981 to coincide with the opening of the United Nations General Assembly. The United Nations declares that the day should be observed as a day of global ceasefire and non-violence.